It's Tuesday, July 23rd, 2024. The Secret Service chief doesn't know nothing. Did Joe Biden have a stroke? And Elon Musk says this one event changed his mission in life. Next on the AM Update. Secret Service Chief Kim Cheadle testified in front of a House committee yesterday and talked about what exactly went wrong with her agency's handling of the near assassination of Donald Trump.
My name is Kimberly Cheadle, and I'm the Director of the United States Secret Service. I appreciate the opportunity to appear before you today. The assassination attempt of former President Donald Trump on July 13th is the most significant operational failure of the Secret Service in decades. And I am keeping him and his family in my thoughts.
So there you have it right from the get-go. The Secret Service director, that's Kim Cheadle that you just heard there, she admits from the very word go that they failed in protecting the former president. Representative Andy Biggs got this line of questioning in about whether Thomas Matthew Crooks actually acted alone. Listen to this.
Your agency has a no-fail mission, and on Saturday, July 13th, your agency spectacularly failed. The failure resulted in the death of Corey Comparator and serious injury to two other rally attendees, David Dutch and James Copenhaver, besides the injuries to President Trump. It is unfathomable that a 20-year-old on the radar of Secret Service and local law enforcement before President Trump went on stage was able to climb onto the roof of a building with a rifle and fire off multiple rounds before he was neutralized. Was Mr. Crooks acting alone?
Again, I would have to refer you to the FBI's investigation.
Was he just a lone gunman?
I would have to refer you to the FBI's investigation for motive.
So that's a non-answer on whether or not Crooks was actually acting alone. We've learned a few things in the ensuing days since the near assassination of Donald Trump, like the fact that this would-be assassin had multiple foreign accounts. I'm not sure if that means bank accounts. Nobody's actually clarified that. Also, the Heritage Foundation has themselves a parallel investigation finding via cell phone data for advertising that somebody who visited Crooks's house multiple times also visited an area of Washington, D.C., where there's an FBI field office. That's very weird. Chairman James Comer and Ranking Member Jamie Raskin of the House Oversight Committee, that's a Republican and a Democrat, are calling for United States Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle to resign, saying in a statement, a joint statement, a bipartisan statement, quote, "The committee and the American people demand serious institutional accountability and transparency that you are not providing. We call on you to resign as director as a first step to allowing new leadership to swiftly address this crisis and rebuild the trust of a truly concerned Congress and the American people." According to Senator Josh Hawley, who spoke to whistleblowers, they told him that law enforcement personnel were in fact stationed on the roof that day of the Trump rally where Thomas Matthew Crooks got in those shots, but they abandoned it, citing the heat. They also say law enforcement were supposed to be patrolling the building but opted to stay inside the building instead. So the roof was too hot, and that's why law enforcement weren't up there actually securing the premises. Boy, that is ridiculous, but not surprising. Kamala Harris spoke for the first time yesterday. After being basically the commander-in-chief in waiting, here she is yesterday in Washington, D.C.
Our president, Joe Biden, wanted to be here today. He is feeling much better and recovering fast, and he looks forward to getting back on the road. And I wanted to say a few words about our president. Joe Biden's legacy of accomplishment over the past 3 years is unmatched in modern history. In one term, he has already, yes, you may clap.
Please clap. That, of course, is Kamala Harris speaking in D.C. yesterday. In the ensuing about 24 hours after Joe Biden withdrew from his re-election bid, Kamala Harris has set a presidential donations record with an $81 million haul in 24 hours. $81 million of fundraising in the 24 hours after Biden dropped out. Yeah, that's totally normal. An incumbent president who has already won his party's nomination, though not officially accepting it, he just drops out in 24 hours. There's just $81 million of donations just lying around. That's totally weird, just totally spontaneous, with no planning whatsoever. At least that's what the media would have you believe. Of course, everyone is like this Babylon Bee headline. America just kind of curious if President alive. We we still haven't seen, as of taping time, Joe Biden, but we're being told, called into a Harris fundraising event in Delaware at his former campaign headquarters. He called in. Listen to this.
Everybody in this effort. I know yesterday's news is surprising and it's hard for you to hear, but it was the right thing to do. I know it's hard because you poured your heart and soul into me to help us win this thing, help me get this nomination, help me win the nomination, and then go on to win the presidency.
Listen to this.
But you're an amazing team.
Does his tongue sound like it's actually functioning?
I know how hard you've worked, how many sacrifices you've made, and so many of you uprooted your lives for me.
Something is not right. He sounds physically about as bad as he has. But he actually sounds sentient and, I don't know, alert and more articulate than he has in quite a while. Most of Biden's statements these days, in fact, all of them in front of the media, they're all scripted. They're all in front of a teleprompter. So this is no different. But this is different. He sounds different. He sounds like he's actually focused and attentive. Even reading off of a teleprompter in recent days, he sounds nothing like that. Nothing like that. But again, we didn't see Joe Biden there. It was just audio. He was phoning into a campaign event at his now ex-headquarters in Delaware. Kamala Harris was there as well, and she had these words. Listen carefully.
It is so good to hear our president's voice. Joe, I know you're still on the call.
On the what? On the what?
It is so good to hear our president's voice. Joe, I know you're still on the call.
On the call? Sounds like she's about to say on the recording. Man alive, this just stinks to high heaven. And now a few items that went under the radar over the weekend for obvious reasons. Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee of Texas passed away. In a statement, the campaign, or the office for Sheila Jackson Lee, said, quote, "She will be dearly missed, but her legacy will continue to inspire all who believe in freedom, justice, and democracy. God bless you, Congresswoman, and God bless the United States of America." Sitting Congresswoman died, dead, over the weekend, and that went under the radar. Also in Texas, First Baptist Church in Dallas, that's a Southern Baptist Convention megachurch. It was founded all the way back in 1868, located in downtown Dallas. Well, it went up in flames over the weekend. It sounds like their entire sanctuary is going to have to be demolished. It's a historic landmark church, of course, in Texas. Pastor Robert Jeffress of First Baptist had these words on the scene of the fire.
I just left the church, and a little bit after 6 p.m. we got word that the church was on fire, our historic sanctuary. This sanctuary has been around since 1890. Was the home for our church for a long time until we moved to our new worship center about 12 years ago. This historic sanctuary was the site of many personal events, including my own. I was baptized there when I was 6. I was ordained for the ministry when I was 21. It holds a lot of memories, but we thank God that nobody has been hurt. We had just concluded Vacation Bible School with over 2,000 kids. They were all gone, so God has protected us through all of this.
How do you feel?
It is, but I'm grateful that the church is not bricks and mortar or wood, it's people. And the people of God will endure. First Baptist Dallas will endure. And we thank so many of our friends around the country who are praying for us right now.
Of course, that era that church building comes from an era where we're still trying to erect churches to be beautiful, to glorify God. Not that that doesn't happen nowadays, but it's less common. Certainly sad news. An historic landmark church, a Southern Baptist church at that, up in flames over the weekend, near total loss. Oh, and there's also this. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, again, overshadowed by all the news of the weekend, made this claim at a conference regarding Iran and nuclear weapons.
How are you going to stop them?
Well, by far, the preferable way to do it would be through diplomacy. Where we are now is not in a good place. Iran, because the nuclear agreement was thrown out, instead of being at least a year away from having the breakout capacity of producing fissile material for a nuclear weapon, is now probably 1 or 2 weeks away from doing that.
Yeah, that's just 1 or 2 weeks away from Iran having nuclear weapons, and that just kind of went under the radar this weekend because our senile president, I'm still not sure if he really knows if he's withdrawn from his re-election bid. Yeah, a major enemy of the United States, Iran, according to our Secretary of State, is 1 or 2 weeks away from obtaining a nuclear weapon. And that just went under the radar this weekend. And finally, Elon Musk was interviewed by the Daily Wire's Jordan Peterson this week, and he discussed some of his personal life and one event that changed his mission in life. This is hard to listen to. It's sad, but listen to this.
It happened to one of my older boys, where I was essentially tricked into signing documents for one of my older boys, Xavier. This is before I had really any understanding of what was going on, and we had COVID going on, and so there was a lot of confusion. I was told, Xavier might commit suicide if he.
That was a lie right from the outset.
Incredibly evil, and I agree with you that people that have been promoting this should go to prison.
That's
so I was tricked into doing this, it wasn't explained to me that puberty blockers are actually just sterilization drugs. Anyway. And so I lost my son, essentially. They call it dead naming for a reason.
Yeah,
All right, so the reason it's called dead naming is because your son is dead. So my son Xavier is dead, killed by the woke mind virus.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what that would be like.
Yeah. So...
and there's lots of people in that situation now.
Right.
It's not pretty, and lots of demolished kids.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's a good reason to be the final straw. All right, so let's.
So I vowed to destroy the woke mind virus after that, and we're making some progress.
That is indeed hard to listen to. That's Elon Musk describing how he was tricked into signing papers that would essentially allow doctors to mutilate one of his sons. Elon Musk is not a man of morals, let's say this. But the spirit of the age, the tip of that spear at the moment, I would wager, is the rainbow jihad, and at this moment, the plague of transgenderism. And that spear pierced Elon Musk's heart. And you can hear it there. The spirit of the age, the leftist machine in this country, and it is a spiritual machine, pissed off the most wealthy man in the world. And so you may not agree with everything Elon Musk says. He posts right-wing stuff all day on X. But we now have an answer on why he has been the way he has been over the last several years. Purchasing X, making it his goal to make X into the bastion of free speech, imperfect though it is, that it is today. It's not the Babylon Bee getting demonetized or banned from X, as has been widely speculated. It was, in Elon Musk's words, the death of his son at the hands of the spirit of the age. That's some powerful motivation. And so, like I said, you may not agree with Elon Musk. He is a man of great, at least working morals. Not a great man of character morals, I would say. But if you believe in anything resembling freedom and liberty, and not the fascism that the left represents, Elon Musk is your friend. He's in this fight with you, I would wager. That'll do it for Tuesday. We'll be back at it again tomorrow. I'm Aaron McIntyre, and this is the AM Update.